So this was a wild announcement yesterday, but I would say at the same time, it probably isn't that surprising if you kind of sit back and look at the landscape of video games and just the era we're in when it comes to media consumption and the fact that GameStop was the company that owned Game Informer, the ones that published the magazine. And if it wasn't really for the meme stock, where would GameStop be right now? Who knows, right? There's a lot that kind of would have pointed to this, but it is very sad nonetheless if you're somebody who grew up in the era of video game magazines, such as myself, read Game Informer all the time, read Game Pro all the time, read the official Xbox magazine, Electric Gaming Monthly, whatever it was called. Like, there are so many magazines. I have Nintendo Power. I read all of the magazines back in the day. And Game Informer was just one that had some amazing covers, but it is now done. And just out of nowhere, just literally nuked like that, like their website, the content, everything is gone from Game Informer. They put out this message, the final level farewell from Game Informer, saying the final level farewell from Game Informer after 33 years of bringing you the latest news, reviews, and insights from the ever-evolving world of gaming. It is with a heavy heart that we announce the closure of Game Informer. From the early days of pixelated adventures to today's immersive virtual realms, we've been honored to share this incredible journey with you, our loyal readers. While our presses may stop, the passion for gaming that we've cultivated together will continue to live on. Thank you for being a part of our epic quest, and may your own gaming adventures never end. Now, that is the statement they put out, and you would have thought, hey, maybe if you go to Game Informer, their website, because they had moved from the physical copies, they had moved to a digital version of the magazine. If you would go to their website, you would think, oh, maybe it's still there. You can go access. You can't. It is all gone. They have taken off all of the work that people have put into this magazine, that people put into this publication off of the website. You can't go back and check anything out. Obviously, you can get it via archives and stuff like that, but they just snapped their fingers, ended it, fired, laid off everybody who was working on it, and it is now the end of an era here for Game Informer. And in fact, they still have, as a pinned tweet on their account, a cover reveal. I mean, as someone whoever is writing this account, they have 2.3 million followers, should probably unpin that account because, you make sure that people know that you're no longer there. But if we go down in here into the comments, you can see some pictures of some of the great cover art that Game Informer had, like some of the best covers in all the video game magazines. You have Power World here, the social media community manager, global community manager Bucky, saying, heartbreaking, Game Informer was really the place to get unbiased news about everyone's favorite hobby. Your journalistic integrity, thoughtful articles will be incredibly missed. We all lose today. You have Assassin's Creed, thank you for your work. RGG85, it was all a good run, and goes on and on. Everybody just kind of saying goodbye to Game Informer, and it's a sad day because this is kind of the end of that legacy media, that official legacy media that started it all for a lot of people. I mean, if it wasn't for magazines, a lot of people would have never learned about games back in the day, including myself. It was the thing I looked forward to the most every month, was getting that new issue. I had a subscription to GamePro, I believe, and getting that new issue every single month and just kind of seeing what games were coming out and then being able to go out and try and play those games was the highlight of my month. And it's so different from today because you would just go and play games. You would enjoy the content. You would enjoy the art. Whereas if you go online today, you go on social media, it's just everybody bitching and complaining literally about everything in video games. So it's an era that brings, I think, for a lot of people like myself who grew up before the internet really, and grew up before the internet was the main source for video game information, it's tons of nostalgia, and seeing it going away is pretty sad. And there's a lot of comments here as well. Like, for example, even Neil Druckmann comments here and says, farewell indeed. As someone who grew up poring over each issue, it was such a thrill and an honor to see our games grace Game Informer. Sad that such a staple of our industry is now gone. Good luck to everyone involved. Your work will be missed. And you can see some of the employees here saying, I lost my job at Game Informer Heartbroken. It was my dream job, but my bills don't care. Effective immediately, I'm available for filming video, editing, documentary, and hosting work. And asks, hey, just hire me, is pretty much what he is saying. Continue down here, and you see Guy Welsh, who is currently the Xbox marketing director for Halo and Gears of War, who worked on a cover, saying getting the Game Informer cover was a big deal. Each issue sold millions, and it set the tone for what players could expect. We put so much care into each pitch, including the cover, which was up to us to create. Loved making this one happen. And you can see this is for Gears of War 2. It's a little pixelated in that picture, but you can see their world exclusive Gears of War 2. That's a phenomenal cover. I wish I had that issue on hand right now. And you have here saying the Game Informer's website is now absolute bullshit. Years of reviews, interviews, news articles are gone in the blink of an eye. It's heartbreaking enough. There won't be new content, but GameStop took away the old content too. That is kind of like the most mind-boggling thing. Maybe it's for legal reasons, maybe it's just for licensing, all of that stuff, and they can't keep the content there. That's why this is happening. But I mean, GameStop is they're obviously, they've been struggling. They're going downhill. They have to change their business at some point. I mean, they're not going to be able to continue with the way that they do business with the used games and stuff. And I mean, their prices for used games suck anyways. Their trade-in values suck. There's really no value in GameStop at the current way that it's ran. But as things become more digital, what are they going to do? They're obviously trying to sell more merchandise and all that stuff. I guess that's kind of where they will go. You go down here, and this person says, I'm furious about the end of Game Informer's incredible 33-year run, and then GameStop pumps out this phony, empty farewell message. I'd bet my money it was written by AI. F you, GameStop, and a huge F you to Ryan Cohen. As we know, Ryan Cohen is the guy who now is I believe the CEO of GameStop, or the head of it, or the largest investor, something along those lines. All of that stuff happened, of course, with the meme stock and everything that happened a few years ago, which was pretty crazy. You have Pat Contry here, Pat the NES Puck, saying the fact that GameStop cannot keep Game Informer around even as a loss leader is disgraceful. Think about all the energy and money that GameStop wasted on NFTs and blockchain over the past years instead of trying to do something worthwhile to revitalize themselves. And that's actually a very good point. If you remember all the NFT and blockchain stuff, stupid stuff that GameStop did, I'm sure they could have kept some of that money to keep Game Informer around, but it's gone. It's over. If you're somebody who enjoyed the magazine, you're really going to have the nostalgia. And I have to say, I have a huge stack of magazines. I have a huge stack of GamePro magazines that I just sometimes pick up and go through. And it is actually still enjoyable to read, and brings you back to just a time where gaming, I guess, was more innocent. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you're older and you've been gaming since, I mean, Super Nintendo, probably Super Nintendo, NES, like that era, or even if you started during like the GameCube era and the OG Xbox and the PS2, it was a completely different time in how people found their information. It was more enjoyable because it wasn't a bunch of bitchy and complaining. Games were also more complete. You had the whole thing when you did purchase it. And this kind of signals one of the other parts of that era that is over. But I'm ending the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.